Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, we are here for Autumn Alignment, week 2, the Unbreakable Wisdom Show. Welcome in. If it's your first time watching, thanks for checking us out. Make sure you check out unbreakablewisdom.com, which runs off my page, The Working Strategist, live on Facebook every Saturday morning. And you can catch the replays and the audio and all the things at unbreakablewisdom.com, which is right down there. Just type it into your browser and away you go. You can check out the school, you can check out our community and all the things. So we're going to jump right in. I have a lot I want to cover with you guys today. My overall goal here with today's Autumn Alignment Challenge number 2 is for you to have the very best quarter 3 that you can have. In fact, I'd love for you to have the best, quarter 4, my goodness, the best fourth quarter that you've ever had so far, so that we're not limiting next year. So last year we talked, oh my God, can you tell that I need coffee? Last week, in week number 1 of the Autumn Alignment Challenge, we talked about clearing the clutter out of your life, out of your surroundings, out of your closets, out of your head, out of your speaking. And we talked about using regret as a compass. So if you didn't download the worksheets from last week and you want to, you're welcome to do that. At unbreakablewisdom.com, on the top, there's a button that says free stuff. If you click that, you can get the free worksheets for every week of the Autumn Alignment Challenge as we go. So right now up there is week 1 and week 2. So there are worksheets for week 2 of the challenge. And again, they are on unbreakablewisdom.com. Go to the button at the top that says free stuff. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. As I said, my overall goal for this show is to have you see that you can have the best quarter 4 that you've ever had so far. And we're going to do that by looking at what chapters require closure and you writing out exactly what you want to see happen in quarter 4, and then the action steps that you need to take to have that completed for yourself. Okay, so that's all in the worksheet. So we're going to talk about all this stuff. And then the actual little packet of worksheets, again, is on the site, unbreakablewisdom.com, under free stuff. So here's my first question to you. Where are you saying yes to something that you no longer want to do? Where are you saying yes to something that you no longer want to be doing? A, out of fear, or B, out of disappointing someone. So there are times when we know that chapters really have to be closed. We know that something really isn't serving us anymore. And it's not like awful. It's not catastrophic. It just isn't the best. And it isn't serving us really. In other words, it's taking more from us than it's giving, or it's causing us more energetic output than is worth it for what we're getting back. And we often hold open a door because we don't want to disappoint someone or because we're afraid to close it. So in order to have the last quarter of the year look different than the rest of the year, that requires us to do things a little bit differently. It may require us to invent some new habits that are better, that better serve where we want to get. And it may require us to close some doors that need to be closed. And I think everybody has places where you're saying yes, but you really are tired of it, or you really don't want to do it anymore, or you're really overgiving and it's wearing you out. And it's just either it's so comfortable like an old shoe and you don't want to shut it down because you're afraid of what will happen if it's not there, or you don't want to disappoint the people involved. And I think that's a big one. I know for me in my own life, that's a big one for me. To say I'm done with something when I know that I'm going to disappoint people. And that happened when I left, my main clients back at the end of April. They were very disappointed, and that was rough on me to do it, to say that it's time to close this door. And I waited almost 2 years to close the door because I didn't want to hurt the people involved, and because I was afraid of what would happen to me, if I didn't have that to lean on. And guess what? It's like almost 6, 7, 8 months later, I'm still here. So this is good. See, you can do it. You can shut a door if it's no longer serving you. And it's not about the other people, by the way. It's about you. Because as you're growing and elevating, you'll end up changing. And then sometimes the things that you're in the middle of, they don't change with you, because not everything is meant to last forever, right? There are seasons. There are some things that are lifetime things, and they will change as you change. And then there are other things that are with you for seasons to contribute something to you. And so real wisdom and discernment is to know the difference between what's a lifetime thing and what's a seasonal thing. And oftentimes we hold open doors for seasonal things because we mistake them for lifetime things. So in order to have a Q4 unlike any other and better than any other so far, you'll have to really dig in and look at, where am I saying yes when I mean no? And I'm saying yes because I don't want to disappoint someone, or I'm saying yes because I'm afraid to say no. I'm afraid to shut the door. So that's one thing to look at. And let me say this about letting go of the things that aren't really serving you well, right? It's like when you prune a tree. We have a Japanese cherry tree out front. It's right outside the window of my office here at the house. And every year it's been beautiful. Since the 10 years that I've had this house, it's been a beautiful tree. And this spring, it looked rough. I thought we were going to lose it. I really thought it was going to die and that we were going to have to dig it out of the ground. So I said to my husband, let's cut off all the stuff, because there were some branches that had some stuff and then some branches that had a tiny bit of stuff. So they weren't dead, but they weren't thriving. And we cut a huge amount of that tree, and the thing came back like crazy. It bloomed like crazy. And I thought we were going to lose it. So that's the thing about, and I know you're supposed to prune bushes so they can come back and all that, but I wasn't sure what would happen with the tree. And so I found out it works in the same way. You have to cut off the things that are not, and again, there were branches that weren't dead, right? So that's where we were like, oh God, we hate to, like, what if it's gonna come back? And what if it's gonna, be okay? And we just had to, so we, like I said, we really pruned the tree down a lot, and we cut off a lot of stuff that was half alive and half not. And this is what I'm saying about your life. Like, there are places in your life where there's stuff that's half alive and half not. And it's time to start closing the doors on that stuff. Because when your energy is scattered on too many things and too many doors are open for you, you cannot focus. You cannot put your head down and go like a bat out of hell on the things that are really working. And this is why you have to prune in your life. This is why you have to close doors that are not serving you anymore. And that requires real discernment and wisdom as you look at all the different situations in your life. Okay, the other thing that I want to ask is, where are you listening like you already know? And what I mean by that is, when we have things happen to us in our lives, we make decisions based on those things. Something happens and we decide something. So we make up a story about anything that looks like that. And then when a new person or circumstance shows up in our life and they smell like that thing, we already know. I already know what that person's going to do. I already know how this is going to go. I already know what's going to happen here. I already know, I already know, I already know. And when you do that, you kill possibility because you don't already know. There is a certain, and there's two things at play here, right? Because there's wisdom about what you've seen in the past and what has transpired from the things in the past. So there is wisdom in learning from what has already happened. However, if you take all those decisions from the past and you set them onto anything and everything new in your life, there will never be possibility for miracles and new circumstances to occur. Because here you sit in, I already know. And what happens is in relationships with people, in conversation, we come to the table with a funnel hat on our head called I already know. And it's the worst when it's conversations with people that you have long histories with. Because I promise you that when you sit down with your significant other or your child or your parent or someone that you've worked with for 10 years, when they say, let's have a conversation, and you grab a coffee and you sit down, you are not coming to the table fresh, ready to hear. You are coming to the table with, I already know how this is going to go. Yeah, okay, what is it? You're coming to the table with a funnel hat on your head that says, I already know, and it does this. That is why there is so much discord in personal relationships, marriages, partnerships, parents and children, all of the things. There's so much discord there because nobody, I will say mostly nobody comes to each conversation as a fresh human being, ready to hear, ready to listen. They come, Allie's saying expectations kill possibility and progress. They come with an expectation of how it's going to be. They come with an expectation of what is going to be said. And so therefore, they're not open to what could happen in the conversation. And this is why negotiators and mediators have business, because negotiators and mediators come to the table with fresh ears. They come to hear. And this is why relationship coaches and anybody that's coaching two people team, this is why people hire me to come into their teams and sort out their teams and train their leadership and all the things, because no one has fresh ears. And you have to then insert an outsider that can actually hear what's going on. So I encourage you to look at where in your life are you listening like you already know? Where are you listening inside of a circumstance or inside of a relationship like I already know? I already know, I already know, I already know, I already know. And as you can see, that blocks anything, any possibility from happening. Sitting in I already know doesn't leave any room for anything new to happen. And in order for you to be a new you in Q4, which is in a couple of days, we start October 1st, we start quarter 4 of the year. We have 3 months left in the year, October, November, December. I want you to use this autumn alignment to have the best Q4 for yourself that you've had so far. And in order to do that, you have to be willing to look at things that you haven't looked at before. So the two questions for today are, where are you saying yes to something that you no longer want? Where are you saying yes to something that you don't want anymore? And you're saying yes out of fear of closing the door, or you're saying yes out of the fact that you don't want to disappoint the people if you close the door. So where are you keeping doors open? Where are you keeping your foot in the door, or your finger in the door, or I'm keeping, I just have that crack just a little because I don't know what will happen if I shut that. What will happen? I don't know. It kind of scares me. So I'll just leave it cracked just a tiny bit. All those cracks are taking your energy. All those cracks are taking your energy. So just like when we pruned the Japanese cherry tree out there, when you cut off the stuff that is not serving you well, that is not having you thrive, that is not really bringing you where you want to go, when you cut all that back, you actually have the opportunity to thrive, and you now have the opportunity to set some goals for Q4, set the actions to take to get you there, put your head down and go without distraction. And the other question is, where are you listening like you already know? Where are you already, you have written the entire outcome of this thing because you already know. Where's that happening? Where are you not really participating or listening or being present because you already know? You can truly get anywhere that you want to get. All that is required is the right tools, the right support, and for you to take the actions consistently and with discipline that have to be taken. You can truly transform any situation or meet any objective if you are willing to do the work. And this is part of the work. Part of the work is recognizing where we are falling short of the people that we really could be. Part of the work is recognizing where we are hanging on to things that no longer serve us because we're afraid to let them go. Where are we also counting on someone else to solve our problem? Where are we counting on someone else because we're afraid to count on ourselves? Where are we looking outside of ourselves for the solution? Either we're looking for someone to save us, or we're looking for someone to provide revenue, or where is that happening? Nobody's coming to save us. We have to save ourselves, and we are well equipped to do so. You are well equipped to save yourself. I promise you. You are stronger than you think you are. You have more capability than you give yourself credit for, and you have more power in you than you are accessing. And my job is to help you see that and access that power. It's why I started the community. And it's why I want anybody who really wants to do the work to get inside that community for $39 a month, so you can have conversations with me every week and everyone else in there to keep yourself moving forward like where you want to go, to keep yourself going in that direction. I'm about to fire up the schedule for that community starting in October. So there'll be a leadership and communication mastermind that happens every month. There will be a session for business and professional coaching every month. There will be a session that is like more personal. Where do you need help with your personal growth every month? And there will be just like come out and have coffee after the show. So every month we'll do 1 hour live in the community after the show where you can ask me questions or just come and hang out with us. Okay, so the questions that are in the worksheet for Autumn Alignment 2 this week What chapter in my life or work needs to be closed before the year ends? What unfinished storylines are draining my energy? If I keep avoiding closure, what regret will I end up carrying into 2026? And then I ask you to write your vision statement for the fourth quarter. And what I mean by that is I want you to actually write out, like a story, how you want the fourth quarter to go, how you want things to go in the fourth quarter. And then what are the three things that matter the most as goals for Q4? And what are the actions that you need to do to get yourself there? And then there's a couple of other pages. So literally, I keep creating these little worksheet workbooks for you for this autumn alignment challenge. And I encourage you to go download them. They are free. You don't even have to give me your email address to download these worksheets. You just go to unbreakablewisdom.com and hit the free stuff tab, and there they are. So I encourage you this week to really look at cleaning up the chaos in your life right now. As we talked about in week 1, getting rid of clutter, clearing out regret, recognizing that you have learned lessons, writing those things down for yourself, having wisdom and discernment about what is worth your energy and what isn't. Recognizing that closing doors isn't failure, it's wisdom. Not every door ought to stay open. You have to be wise and discerning about what you pay attention to. You don't want to be drifting through your life, right? You want to decide. You want to decide where you're going to go, and then you want to make a path to get there. That's the whole point of autumn alignment, is to have you really start looking at where you want to go and provide you with steps to get there. You close chapters so that you can move forward. Don't let the last 3 months happen to you. Don't let the last 3 months of the year be unintentional. It's the holidays coming up, and a lot of people get into the holiday slide. What happens is in October, you go, it didn't turn out the way I wanted. Forget it. I'll just start again next year. No, you don't have to do that. You can start right now. Why do we have to wait until January 1st to, make a new way for ourselves? We don't have to wait. It's not too late. We have 3 whole months left. Don't let that just go unintentionally. Next week, we're going to talk about how to have the best holiday season that you've had so far ever in your whole life. That's the goal for week number 3 of autumn alignment. We're going to start talking about that. So I really encourage you this week, do something different. It will literally take you probably 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour. Go download the worksheets, download the one from last week, download the one from this week, watch last week's show if you missed it, rewatch this show, fill out the worksheets, make a path for yourself, do something different. I'm literally teaching you a 6-session free class right here publicly. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to do anything. Just show up and do the work. I couldn't make it any easier for you to take charge of yourself and make something different happen. It is not too late. We have a whole quarter left, and there's a whole bunch of opportunity inside of that. Okay? So, in closing, look at where you have to prune the tree, like we did with the Japanese cherry tree. Where do you have to close doors now that are no longer serving you? Where is it time to shut doors that you've been leaving open because you're afraid to shut them, or you're afraid of disappointing someone else by shutting them? Where is it time to shut those doors? Where are you saying yes to something that you don't want to say yes to because you don't want to disappoint someone or you're afraid? And where are you listening in your life like you already know? Where are you not showing up fresh and open to possibility because you're listening like I already know? Where is that happening? What room is there for possibility if you already know everything? If you already know how everyone is going to behave in your life and how they're going to act and what's going to happen, what can happen that's new? Nothing. Nothing new can happen. So stop it. Stop thinking that you already know. Have wisdom about what you've seen from people in the past with their behavior. Don't discount that part. Also, though, open yourself to the possibility that as you change, other things can change around you. So just pay attention. Pay attention to where you are killing possibility by acting like you already know. And be open to something new happening. Okay, go print the worksheets, do the work. Look at the chapters that have to be closed. Do the work from last week if you didn't do it already. What has to be cleaned up? Where do you have regrets that you can turn them into lessons and change the narrative there? Where are you saying yes when you mean no? Where do you need to prune things in your life? Where are you listening from a place of zero possibility? And what kind of Q4 do you want to have? What are your goals for the last quarter? And I ask you in this worksheet to write it out like a story, like it already happened, like you had the best last quarter that you've ever had. And what did that look like? Write that out. And then these little worksheets ask you to make some action step. And I walk you through the whole thing. I, honest to God, couldn't have made this easier for you guys. So take the help. Go do something different. Decide that this Q4 is going to be different than any other. It's going to be better than any that you've had so far. And I'm going to do the worksheets right along with you. So watch for the clips that we're posting of the show as reels now. We're taking the show and breaking it up. And visit us at unbreakablewisdom.com. If you sign up for the newsletter, you end up with a free course from the school. And I really will keep encouraging you guys to join the community. Get in there with us and get the support. You can change anything with the right tools, the right support, and taking and doing the work, the consistent, disciplined work. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you for week number 3 next Saturday. Take care.